Bingo is also coming.
Again, bingo.
Okay, I'm going to start off tonight's year with a joke that I heard once upon a time. Maybe I said the joke in the past, I'm not sure. But it doesn't hurt to say a joke again, especially if everyone's going to laugh. Okay, so it goes like this. One day, this is a true story, but it's also a joke. One night I was after Maidiv, and I was in 7-7, and I heard one guy telling his friend a joke. He told his friend a joke. The joke goes like this. That there was a guy in the city that used to, the Shabbos guy, that used to be up the whole night walking around the city. The whole night he was up. The whole night. I'm making an inside joke. Okay, whatever. So this guy was up the whole night walking around the city, just walking around. So the new guy that came to the city, he's wondering, what's this guy doing? Up the whole night, walking around town, night after night after night, until he went up to this guy one night and he asks him, what are you doing?
Jewish guy?
No, a guy.
Oh.
The joke is better when you say it's a guy. So you know what? It's even funnier. The guy is in Chelm. Let's say it's a city of Chelm, which the people are very foolish. Yeah, that's the way the joke goes. So this guy's going around up the whole night. So what are you doing? So he said,
Yeah.
he is the Shomer Oir. He's the guard of the city. Now, what is he doing when he's the guard of the city? He's the guard to see that when Mashiach is going to come, he's going to let everybody know, oh, wow, look at this. So he's going to let them know, the whole city, that Mashiach came. That's what this guy's job is. Right? So the joke is, we're saying over here, there's a guy that is up the whole night walking around town, and he asks him, what are you doing? He's the guard of the town to let everyone know when Mashiach is going to come. Okay. And he asked him, how much do they pay you per an hour? He said he gets about $1 an hour, $1. Okay? And he asks him, so why are you doing such a stupid job? You're getting paid nothing. This is, way below the pay wage. Why are you doing it? So he said, I was looking for a job that I'm not going to lose so fast. So that's why I took this job. That was the joke. So now, and this is what one guy tells the other guy in 770, and they're both giggling away. It's such a funny joke. So I didn't like this joke. And instantly, I told the guy, I mixed in, even though really I don't know them, it's none of my business. But I said, I also have a joke for you. Can I tell you guys a joke? So they said, okay. I said there was a shliach came to 770 for the Knesset Shluchim. Shliach comes at 770, he's there for whatever reason at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and he asks and the shliach sees his bachos up there the whole night. The next night he goes again and he asks him, he comes again the next night and he sees the bachos again up the whole entire night. The whole night this guy's up in 770. Why is he up the whole night? Doesn't know. The third night, he sees this guy, he's up there the whole night, he's up in 770. So the shliach asks this bacher, why are you up the whole night? The whole night, why are you up in 770? So he said, he's the guard of 770. That the second Mashiach is going to walk into 770, he's going to right away let everyone know. It's like, oh, wow. He asks him, how much are they paying you for this job? He says, no. He gets $1 million an hour. $1 million an hour.
Jewish this time.
Yeah, Jewish. $1 million an hour. Now, he asked the shliach, you want my job? So the shliach says, no, I don't want your job. Why not? Because he says Mashiach is walking in any second. Any second Mashiach is walking into the room. And I'm not gonna make any money. He said, what's the point of this job? Mashiach is coming in, and he said, can I take your job? He said, a shliach, I'm gonna be a shliach forever. Mashiach is gonna come, I'm gonna continue being a shliach. But to be the guard, the one Mashiach is gonna come, there's no time for this job. So the point of my joke, that I was basically telling these people, their joke was that the Mashiach is not gonna come for a long time. And the point of the joke that I was saying was to flip it around. That it's the other way around. Mashiach is coming any second. They say another joke that that Eliyahu Navi comes to one community, whatever, who knows where, and he lets everyone know that Mashiach is coming. So everyone's dancing, and Eliyahu Navi says Mashiach is coming tomorrow. Not tonight, tomorrow. He says he's going to come a day before. And everyone's so happy he's coming tomorrow. Then he comes to 770, and he says Mashiach is coming tomorrow, and everyone's crying. Why do we have to wait a whole day till Mashiach comes? Why do we have to wait a whole day? Why don't they come right now? The point of these jokes are that what's normal and what's crazy. What's normal and what's Meshuggah. What needs to be Meshuggah is that we're here in Golus. That's what's Meshuggah. What's crazy that we're here in exile. And what's normal that Mashiach is going to come right away. We need to understand, and that's what the Rebbe is. This is one of the themes in this famous Sikha, the Rebbe, historical Sikha that actually changed our whole job, our mission, and it changed history to whether you do know it or you don't know, but that's the fact. Matan Torah changed the world. You have a guy in the middle of Yehupitz, in the middle of China. He doesn't know maybe the Matan Torah, but he did know maybe, but it changed the reality when Moshe Rabbeinu split the sea, or whenever anything happened in history. Not everyone knew, but it changed. Today is the day something really changed big. Now, what this Sikha tonight, or not tonight, it was actually last night in 1991, the Rebbe came back from his father-in-law's Ohel, came from his father-in-law's gravesite, and he decided to say surprise talk. Usually they wouldn't even ready for it. He didn't even have a microphone ready. They had nothing ready, and they needed to take the microphone from the Chazan Stender. And the Rebbe started saying a talk. And basically what he did in this talk was he ultra analyzed every single detail of the date, where we're in. He says the year we're in, the month of the year, the day of the month of yesterday, today's date and tomorrow's date, and the day we're in the Parsha of the Shavua, which day of the Parsha is the Shavua, the day of the Sfiras Omer, the day, yesterday's day of Sfiras Omer, tonight's night, tomorrow's night, all of these things. And he shows you how every single detail is all connected to the redemption. Everything is connected to the Geula, and everything is connected to Mashiach. Now, generally, to make it, not to spend too much time, but he started off by saying that the year was Tavshin Nun Aleph, 1991. The Hebrew year is Nun Aleph. What's Tavshin Nun Aleph? It's an acronym of 4 words. Tavshin Nun Aleph is the Hey Shnas Niflois Arenu. It should be a year that I'm going to show you wonders. That's the acronym of the year. A year that I'm going to show you wonders. Now, where did these words come from? There's a pasuk. There's a pasuk in Micha. It says, just like the days you went out of Egypt, you saw wonders. The exact same way, I'm going to show you wonders in the future. So the pasuk says, "Tehei shnas." Kemet says, Anu, I'll show you niflos wonders. Ad enu is an aleph. Ad enu, then it comes niflos is nun. Aleph nun. So the year is Tavshin Nun Aleph. It's a little different. The Nun and the Aleph switch around, but it's the same letters of the pasuk. So he says it's a year of showing you wonders, and he says that in this year we saw wonders. That year, the Gulf War, the Rebbe actually said that we saw greater miracles than Purim. Greater Purim is a miracle in the laws of nature. But you didn't see the miracle. It's a law. It was a story. In Purim, we read it within 45 minutes. So you hear the story quickly. But and you can maybe see the miracle a little bit more because you're seeing the whole picture in one shot. But when the Yidden went through Purim, it was a long story that was stretched out to many years. They didn't see the miracle openly. The Rebbe says now, 1991 in this Gulf War, it's open miracles. Open miracles, and even going to see the miracles. And the Rebbe brings out over there that we see what happened then in 1991 by Purim, by Pesach, when he left Mitzrayim. It says the first miracle was that the Egyptians the firstborn Egyptians fought and hit their parents. They killed some of them, but the main thing is Lamakim Mitzrayim Bivcharim. That was the miracle of Shabbos HaGodol. And the Rebbe says that's the same thing we saw then. That Goyim, the Arab nations around Saddam, they themselves and the UN, they were hitting Saddam. They forced Saddam, the Machshamoy, to give back to they embarrassed him. They forced him to return different captives. They forced him to accept upon himself all these conditions they made with him. They forced him to pay a whole bunch of different penalties, and they really bashed him, knocked him down. The Rebbe says all of this has been done by the Goyim themselves and by other Arabs themselves, by Egypt themselves. But all these Goyim themselves, they're hitting the hater, the Jew hater, the traitor Yehudim. So this itself, the Rebbe said, is an open miracle that's even greater than the miracles of Purim. And then he spoke even earlier that people thought, we mentioned this a different time, that they thought it's going to be a world war. Then the people were scared it's going to be a world war is going to break out. And instead of a world war breaking out, it finished up 1, 2, 3 with miraculously all of these, all the enemies disappeared. So whatever, that's the year of I'll show you wonders. Then he says we're in the month of Nissan. The month of Nissan, our sages say, we were redeemed in this month. We were taken out of Egypt. We were taken out of Golus, out of exile in this month. And in the future, we're going to be redeemed in this month. It's a month of redemption. That's a month of Nissan. In a month of redemption itself, the Rebbe said we're after the 27th day of the month. 27, Chav Zayin, smells the letter Zach, purity. Zach Nissan, he says that means that the Geula of Nissan is pure, it's revealed, it's open. Now, Zach is also, he says, a chazaka is 3, and a chazaka of a chazaka is 3 times 3, and a chazaka of a chazaka is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. So that's Chav Zayin Nissan. Then we go into Chav Ches Nissan, which is Koyach Nissan, the Koyach of Nissan of Geula. It's the Koyach to bring the Geula. Then it comes Chav Tes Nissan, which is Erev Rish Chodesh, which Erev Rish Chodesh is called Yom Kippur Kotan. But Yom Kippur, it says, is like the wedding of the Yidden and Hashem, which the completion of that is going to be in the Geula. So Chav Tes symbolizes the Chasana, which is connected to Yemais HaMashiach. Then comes Rish Chodesh, which is the Moiled Alavana, the moon gets born, there's a new moon. And we say in Kiddush Lavana that we're just like the moon gets renewed, so too we will be renewed just like the moon gets renewed. Then there's 2 days of Rish Chodesh, so 2 days of a moon of Geula. Then comes Beis Eir, which is Tiferes, Shabbat Tiferes, the birthday of the Rebbe Maharash, which the Rebbe Maharash said that the world says that when you can't go under, you go over. And I say you should go from the top. So the Rebbe basically connects all of these days to the Geula. Now the days of Smiras HaEmer, there is the 12th day of the Eimer, that was Chav Zayin. 12 is the 12 Shvatim, and the Geula we're going to have the Shleimus of all the 12 Shvatim, all the 12 Shvatim will be together. Then it comes to the 13th of the Eimer, which is the Gematria Echad 1, and it says in the Geula, God's oneness is going to be revealed. Then it comes to the 14th of the Eimer, Yudalid, which is Yad, and the Geula is connected to Yad Chazaka, Yad Roma, Yad Agdela, the strong hand of God. The Geula comes from the Yad Hashem. Then comes the 15th, which is the Kaim Asiri Bashlamus, the 15th day of the month. The moon is complete. It symbolizes on the completion of Geula. So after the Rebbe does all of this, the Rebbe says the very, very famous words. He says, according to all what we mentioned now, how the Geula is connected very especially to this time, we say that is the biggest question gets aroused. What's the biggest question the Rebbe says is what? What's the $1 million question? Anybody know? It says like this: how could it be? How is it possible that after everything that we did, we didn't bring actually the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu in reality? We are not redeemed yet. Davar sha'edei muvan klal klal. The Rebbe says this is something that's not understood at all. There's no explanations. No one should give explanations. Now another question the Rebbe says. Question number 2. Shemis asvi masora v'kama v'kama asiris b'Yisrael b'yachat. 10 Jews are getting together. and many groups of 10 Jews are getting together. We're getting together in a time, which, like explained until now for the past 5 pages, that it's very, very connected to the redemption. So Yidden are getting together in a time that the Gula could come in that time. It's very connected to the redemption. But Aval became, nevertheless, Yidden are not storming away, they're not making noise to bring Mashiach right away. You're in a time that Mashiach could come, in the month of Nissan, and the 27th of Nissan, and the 28th of Nissan, and it's a very special time the Mashiach could come. And instead of people making noise, the Mashiach should come. Everyone's quiet. And the Rebbe says, "V'loy mufrach etzlon, rachmano litzlan, shemashiach liyavim b'layla v'gam mocher liyavim Mashiach tzidkeinu, v'gam achrasayim liyavim Mashiach tzidkeinu, rachmano litzlan." It's not considered like the craziest thing that Mashiach will come tonight. Someone says Mashiach will come tonight. Does that sound to you like saying, I don't know, I'm going to start walking on my head? Does that sound crazy to you? The Rebbe says it sounds normal. For people, it's normal. The Mashiach won't come tonight. He won't come tomorrow. He won't come after tomorrow. And then by the Rebbe, it hurts the Rebbe very, very much. He says, Achmar al-Itzlan. Like we started off with our jokes, with our comedy show in the beginning of this class, that it needs to be something. It needs to be something that it doesn't make sense. We need to understand that it's crazy to be in Golus. We need to understand that Yidden don't belong in Golus. We don't belong in exile. And what's the most normal thing? The most normal thing is the Mashiach should come this second. That's the most normal thing. To be in Golus, it's crazy. And that's what the Rebbe is demanding. But the Rebbe is saying, the way he sees it, at least then, for sure, he says that it's normal to live in Golus. That's the way he sees it. Now, when you're going to tell me that we're screaming, we want Mashiach now. The Rebbe says, even when people are screaming, Ad Mosai, how long are we going to be in Golus? The Rebbe says, it's only because I said so. That's why people are screaming. Because I said you should scream Ad Mosai, so people are screaming Ad Mosai. But if people would really have kavanah and really ask and really scream, it's a certain thing for sure that Mashiach would have already been here now. If people would really mean it and really ask for Mashiach, not to do anyone a favor.
People to bring the Mashiach.
If people to pray to God, he says that's what you could do. If they would pray to God to bring Mashiach, if someone's sick, you pray to God, please heal this person. The Rebbe says no one is praying for real.
But people saying if we pray all this long time and Mashiach never comes, statistically, he's not going to come.
That's not what the Rebbe is saying. Why didn't Mashiach come? Because no one really prayed. That's what he's saying. Very simple. He says people want money, they know how to pray. When people are sick, they know how to pray. But for Mashiach, no one's to really mean it. It should really bother you.
So basically, what you're saying that they all pray that we had here today, it was not really praying.
Correct. That's
so
what the Rebbe says.
If they pray for all these years were not correct, probably statistically, you're not going to have better than that.
Well, that's not what he's saying over here. The Rebbe has very thinks positive. He doesn't think negative. The Rebbe thinks that we will. God made God. It's about us praying and really wanting it. If we're gonna really want it and pray for it for real.
So the rabbi didn't want it enough.
The point God created the world is not for rabbis. God created the world for you and me. That's what I mean. I'm saying.
But they keep telling us that something is wrong. We don't do something the right way. We don't do it the right way. We don't do it enough. What is enough?
We need a Mashiach Kolo.
What is the right way? What is enough?
What is the enough?
Say that we haven't done enough.
First, there's two things. There's the Tamiyah to the Eibishter, and there's a Tamiyah to people in 770. The people to us, that if we would have been it, it's not even a question that Mashiach would have already come if people would really mean it. The Rebbe says people didn't mean it. Now the Rebbe asks, what else can I do, says the Rebbe, that all the Jewish people should make noise and scream for real, to really mean it. And the Yifalu the Havi Yes Mashiach Lapon, they'll actually bring Mashiach. The Rebbe says, whatever I did until now didn't help. It didn't help. And what's the proof it didn't help? We're still in Galus. We're still in exile. And even more than that, the Rebbe says we're in the Galus Pnimi B'Yad Avedis Hashem. People are still in their, there's the big Galus that the base Hamikdash isn't built, and we're not all in Eretz Yisrael with Mashiach. But then there's, each person has his own private, personal Galus. That he's in the Galus of his Yetzer Hara, his evil inclination, and that you could go out yourself. If you're God, it's up to you. That's not up to God. You could free yourself from your Yetzer Hara if you want. And the Rebbe says people are not freed. So what could he do? The Rebbe says, whatever I did to make people really want Mashiach, it didn't help until now. And what's the proof? Because we're still here in Galus. And even more than that, where people are still in the Galus and Avedis Hashem, which means for real, they wouldn't have be in their Galus with their Torah. The Rebbe says later on in a different Sikha that when someone's koching in Mashiach, he's not in his Galus with his Yetzer Hara. It says Istakel b'shleisha dvarim. It says in Berkei Avot, a person should look into three things. You're not going to come to do an Aveda. If you look at the three things, the Pirkei Avot says you should look into this, that there's an eye seeing, an ear that's hearing, and a book that's writing down whatever you're, But the Rebbe says, why do I need to tell you, look into three things? It could have just said, you look into this, that there's an eye seeing, an ear hearing, and whatever you're doing is being accounted, is being written down. Why does it say, look into three things, and you won't come to do an Aveda? I not account. So the Rebbe says that there's a separate lesson from this, that it says look into three things. There's look into three things is to look into the third Beis Hamikdash. Look into the third redemption. And if a person, you could please turn on the air conditioner. If a person will look into these three things, he won't come to do an Aveda. So the Rebbe is saying, if people would really want Mashiach, they wouldn't be wasting their time with fighting with their Yetzer Hara. So the Rebbe says, so till now the Rebbe is basically has questions and is basically complaining. Now the Rebbe says, what could he do? What can he do? And what can be done? The Rebbe says, what could he still do? He says, Adovar hayechidi shecholani lasis. The only thing I could do. How can we fix all of these problems that we're still in exile and we don't really mean it or didn't mean it? And what can he do? So the Rebbe says, what can I do? I could give it into your hands. It used to be in history that who dealt with Mashiach, who dealt with bringing Mashiach. This was something that the Nasi Hadoir did. The leader of the Jewish people, it was his business to deal with God. Every simple person, that was the subject on the side. Can every simple Jew bring Mashiach? That wasn't the job of simple people, regular people, to deal with God, with bringing the true and ultimate redemption. The job of bringing the redemption was for the leader of the generation, which this really means literally and spiritually. Literally, who's the Mashiach? Who's the person that takes the Eden out of exile? That's the leader of the generation. Like he said, Moshe Rabbeinu was the leader of the Jewish people, and he took them out of Egypt. That's the technical, actual redemption. But also spiritually, who did, all the regular, simple people, they weren't thinking. It wasn't their business to think that it's my responsibility to make Mashiach come. It's my personal responsibility to make sure that the Gula comes. That was the responsibility of the Nasi Ador, the leader of the Jewish people, the Rebbe, the Moshe Rabbeinu of that generation, whatever it is, throughout all of history, from after the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash till this Sikha.
Yeah, but on the other hand, they say that it's
up to everyone.
That's exactly what we're. So that's now. So this is exactly what I'm saying right now. So the Rebbe says, now what can I do? Now this is the change. He says this is what's going to make the change that we're going to start to really mean it. He says what needs to be done now. The Rebbe says, Libserin and Aleichem. I am giving it to you. The Rebbe said, I did whatever I can. The Rebbe did whatever he can. What's needed now? He says, I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to everyone. Asu kol asher b'yicholtechem. Every single person should do. Tut alts v'asir can. Do everything that way you can. Do everything that's in your power. Every person needs to know he has a lot of powers and a lot of abilities. And he's saying every single person needs to do everything. Do that. Don't just think and talk, but do. Do. Asu kol asher b'yicholtechem. Do everything you could do. Don't do a little bit. Don't be a lazy guy. Do everything that you can. And the Rebbe says in Yonim, to tell you, you should do crazy things, which means do crazy things, but they should be packaged well. Which means a guy could just say, okay, I'm going to do small things. I'm just going to be a quiet guy and do my little stuff. A person needs to think big. If someone was sick, if a family member was extremely sick, you'd be sitting around and saying, okay, I'm going to do a little bit, make up a little phone call and do some, or you're going to call and this, and you're going to flip over the world. That's what he's saying. A person needs to flip over the world. A person needs to think big, not just do whatever you can. A person needs to know that it's his personal business, and he has to do big things, but they need to be in Kalim de Tikkun. The way Kabbalah explains it, that Toyu is a world. There's a world called Olam HaToyu, a world of chaos. That's what Toyu is, chaos. Over there, the lights are very big and strong and bombastic and enormous. And because the lights are so big and strong, and they're like full force, they can't get along with another light. In the world of Toyu, the different levels they can't get along. The world of Tikkun, it says in Olam HaToyu, the lights are very big and strong, and there's no vessels. Tikkun is a world of vessels. There's a world of Kalim. There's a world where the lights could go getting dressed into. The job is to take these enormous lights and put them in the vessels. Toyu is a guy asks you for a cup of water, and he turns on a fire hose and he starts with the full force giving you water. That's Toyu. What would you need to do? You need to get, if that would be the case, you need to get a big water tank like that. When the guy turns on the hose, you should be able to handle all of that enormous power of water. So basically, a person needs to reveal in himself his greatest powers, his deepest abilities, to go out of his box. A person needs to really go out of his box. Really, really big, but at the same time, he can't go crazy. And he says to do whatever we can to bring in reality Mashiach Tzidkenu right away. And the Rebbe says again later, a little closer, he says, I did whatever I can. I did my part already. I did what I can. The Rebbe says he did whatever he can. And from now and on, you're going to do whatever you can. Please don't disturb. So the Rebbe said, I did whatever I can. And from now on, do whatever you can. I did whatever I can. From now on, everyone needs to do whatever they can. There's a video. This the Rebbe said Thursday night. Sunday, the next Sunday, a woman came by Sunday dollars. A few different people came. There's a woman that she lost her son a year before in a plane crash. The terrorists blew up a plane, and her son was on that plane, and she lost her son. So this woman came by dollars came to the Rebbe with her husband right after the son got killed, and she asked the Rebbe, how can she be comforted? A year before this. So the Rebbe told her, after what the Jewish people went through in the past generation, which means the Holocaust and all this craziness, the only comfort Jewish people can have is that Mashiach is coming. Mashiach is going to come, and then there's going to be Tchias HaMeisim, there's going to be the resurrection of the dead, and your son's going to come back.
So she never got comfort.
So that's what the Rebbe...
She died, she never saw it, she never got comfort.
Yeah, but she knows that eventually he's going to come back.
So the Rebbe said this is the comfort. The Mashiach is coming, and there's going to be Tchiyat HaMetim, and her son's going to come back. She's going to see her son again. It's not, her son's not a dog. And when the dog dies, it's bye-bye, and you're never going to see it again.
So
It's
the
not a
Mashiach
fly.
will come,
It's not a fly that when you kill the fly's dead. A person is not a fly, not a dog. We wanted the 13 foundations. We said in Shemot Esrei, and Aman Atal Achiyot Meitim, you're trusted. God is trusted, and we believe in Him that He's going to resurrect the dead. So the Rebbe said Mashiach is coming soon, and there's going to be Tchiyat HaMeitim, and she's going to see her son again. Now a year later, the Rebbe said, so this lady was relying on the Rebbe. The Rebbe is going to bring Mashiach. This lady, that the Rebbe said it to her, she was relying on the Rebbe. The Rebbe is going to bring Mashiach. The Rebbe is going to bring the Geulah. It's going to be Tchiyat HaMeitim. Now the Rebbe says over here, I did whatever I can. And I'm giving it up to you. Everyone has to do whatever they can to bring Mashiach. Now I'm throwing the ball to your side. It's your job. It's your responsibility. So this lady tells the Rebbe, she's crying, and she tells the Rebbe, this is too hard for us. It's too hard for us to bring Mashiach. We can't do it. It's above our power. It's above our capacity. So the Rebbe said, and she said, you have to bring Mashiach. She tells the Rebbe, I want to see my son. That's what she tells the Rebbe. So the Rebbe tells her, but what do you want? I'm only one person, and you're so many people. So she says, yeah, but you're the Rebbe. You're not a regular person. So the Rebbe says, okay, so you're telling me that I'm not a regular person. I'm a rabbi. So if I'm a Rebbe, I'm saying that now the way Mashiach is going to come, it needs to be done by everyone. That's the way Mashiach is going to come. So she says, no, you're going to bring Mashiach. I want to see my son. And she's crying. You're the Rebbe and you're going to bring Mashiach. So the Rebbe says, if you're trusting me as a rabbi, as a Rebbe, so the Rebbe says, I know, and I'm telling you now, the way it needs to be done is that everyone needs to bring Mashiach. And the Rebbe said, I said clearly that it needs to be done by you, and by you, and by you, and by you, and by you, by you, by you. And the Rebbe went with his finger and started pointing at every single person in the room. Says, every single one of you need to bring Mashiach. Which means this is the chiddush. This is the revolution of this talk, of this day. This is the revolution of this talk. What do we need to do? That we need to know.
יש ניסים, אבל כל היום מדברים על משיח.
אתה לא מרגיש את
אבל כל היום מדבר על משיח, מה יוצא מזה?
אתה מרגיש שהוא מתקרב?
לעם היהודי? כן, ניסים? מה יש יותר, ניסים או בעיות לעם היהודי?
ניסים.
יותר מבעיות או פחות מבעיות?
שניהם, אבל ניסים.
כן, יש ניסים.
רגע, אתה רואה או לא רואה ניסים?
לא,
אני שואל.
לא רואה ניסים.
לא רואה. The people
תפתח את העיניים שלך.
לפני 3 שנים היו יכולים לרדת גשם של טילים עלינו, ועד היום רק פה ושם.
נו, אז זה מצוד אחרי העם היהודי. יש לך מצוד אחרי העם היהודי כבר כמה שנים.
You don't see that as a miracle?
כל יום זה ניסים.
The fact that we are surviving, every animal that you put it in a jungle to try to survive. We are just like animal trying to survive.
Listen, how was it 100 years ago? How was it 100 years ago or 200 years ago for the Yehudim? We didn't even think of having a land. We didn't even think of having a land.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden we got Batei Chabad all over the world. There isn't a place in the world, כמעט, שהיהודי לא יכול לדעת קודם כל שהוא יהודי ולהתנהג כמו יהודי. אתה לא רואה You don't see this difference all of a
This was
sudden?
never before in history, ever, and never before there was as many Jews learning Torah in the world.
Yeah.
In numbers, even before the Holocaust.
It's coming, Habibi.
Okay.
It's coming. You got to, and Eretz Yisrael. Finally, we're doing what the Rebbe did. We're going out strong. We're not going to be chickens no more. We go out and we're going after
But you're doing what
Hezbollah.
America
We're
is
going
doing.
after Iran. We're going to go there and kill them there. We're going to go after Hezbollah wherever the hell they are, and we're going to go kill them there.
That's America doing.
That's a miracle. We were nobody.
America. This
We
is
didn't-
God making Lev Malachim and Son of Yad Hashem.
Okay. What if
This that Trump won. This that Trump didn't get killed. All of this is one big miracle.
Yeah.
what if Trump gonna leave it like that and the Iranian regime is
Why are you
stay?
thinking?
Okay, Moshe, Acharei Ashior.
If you're saying,
why
if you're,
exactly is that we want to bring
if you're
Mashiach?
seeing positivity, it's going to continue. All these Nissan, they're only going to get bigger and bigger. They're only going to be more and more Nissan now.
And what do you expect when the Mashiach comes?
Okay, one thing at a time. One thing at a time.
This war is looking for a spiritual person. Who is gonna be Mashiach? What is gonna
Make
be?
a statement about the
Yeah,
finish.
because
What's the
we
finish of
can have a
Mashiach?
debate
That was
if
the
you want.
second.
No, I'm just wondering, what do you, because you praying every day for that. What do you expect it to happen?
So now the same Sunday.
הוא יבוא בהיסח הדעת, אנחנו יודעים איך יתגלה בסופו של דבר.
ומה אתה מצפה שיקרה?
לא, אין לי סיפור, אני לא יודע, אין לי מושג.
אז אין לך ציפייה של מה שיקרה.
אוקיי, לכל זמן ועת. אתה רוצה, נדבר איתך, נדבר ונתווכח whatever it is.
I'm just asking what's going to happen when the Messiah is
When the Messiah is going to come, the Messiah is going to come. He's going to build the Beit HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, in the Har HaBayit. He's going to take the Al-Aqsa and send it to Azazel, and he's going to put the third Beit HaMikdash over there. And all the Yidden from the whole world are going to go to Eretz Yisrael. This is what Mashiach is in 5
You
seconds.
don't see that the Christians,
Okay.
הגויים עכשיו, אפילו הגויים מתחילים.
So the
ואז שיש בית המקדש, we're going to be able to bring korbanot.
Okay,
We're gonna be able to light the
when we see
Madara.
construction coming to Jerusalem to build Beit HaMikdash, and we know Mashiach is coming. Why to speak about it all the time if you don't know even how it's going to look like and what is going to happen there?
Because we know it's going to happen regardless.
Okay, so why do we need to talk about it? It's very, very
The
simple.
rabbi promised to that lady that the Mashiach is
Why
gonna
do we need to
come
talk
and
about
see
it?
his son.
Because
She died, we never seen that.
why do we need to talk about it every day? It's very, very simple. Because this is why the whole world was created for. This is the purpose. It's like a guy's coming to a chasana. This guy's coming to a wedding. And what is the guy doing? He doesn't go to the chatan to tell him Mazal Tov. He doesn't dance. The guy's on his phone the whole wedding, looking around, and he doesn't care about anything around him. That's the same thing. We want to waste our time on the phone all day. The world, God made this world for a reason. The purpose He made the world, the Gemara says, and it says it in Torah. This is what the Gemara says. So the Zohar says, so the Midrash says, Lo ibri alma ela leMashiach. God made this world because He wanted the time of Mashiach to come. To make it this world, there's a reason why He made it. He didn't make this world for a jungle. He made this world because God wants this world to be His house. How is this world going to be His house? God is going to be a king over the whole world. The whole world. Every person in the world is going to accept. The whole world.
Then it's not the
The
time yet.
Geula is.
Why does the goy,
When you
why
want
does the
Mashiach?
goy in China, why do they have phones now? Because
Wow, okay,
Mashiach, he
no,
has
no,
to see
no.
Mashiach too. He's also going to have to know about it.
But when you see that,
How do you do
when you go to the wild and you see a lion petting a rabbit and kissing him, you know it's Mashiach time, but he's not killing her. When you see the going saying good things about Israel and believe us, that will be
You asked the
Mashiach
question.
time.
Why? You asked the question. Why do we need to talk
No,
about
why
it all
to
the
promise
time?
it to people that tomorrow is going
Why-
to come? It's not the time.
No one promised to no one that He's coming tomorrow.
The rabbi promised to that lady.
He didn't promise anything. The Rebbe didn't promise her.
Promise
We all need. This is a chayuv. It's a chayuv. It says, open up.
Every day in the new beginning.
There's 13 yesodot, 13 foundations of Ya'adut, and it's in the Siddur. I didn't make this up. You'll go look. It says one of the 13 is Ani Ma'amin b'munah shlema b'viyat HaMashiach. That's number one. I believe b'munah shlema, with complete faith. Emunah means it doesn't need to make sense. It doesn't mean Ani Yodea. It says Ani Ma'amin. The definition of Emunah is that wherever your brain doesn't understand, where you can understand, when now I don't understand, it doesn't make sense. That's exactly where the emunah starts. That's exactly where that's
But
the.
it can come after we
One
die.
second. That's the definition of emunah. Emunah is not something that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. That's what emunah is. And what do we say? Ani ma'amin b'emunah shlema. I believe with complete emunah, like a little baby that just believes. That's what emunah means. It doesn't mean that you can't also know, but your knowing cannot knock out the emunah because it doesn't make sense. The emunah is there. That's the foundation. If you want to make it rationalize the emunah also, kol hakavod. It's a mitzvah to do that also. If you're able to, so let it work with your brain also. Let it make sense with your brain also. That's not a problem. But I believe with complete emunah that Mashiach is going to come.
That's a
He's
song
going to
they
come.
make.
It's not a song. It's a song they made as Shema Yisrael. Is a song or it's a pasuk in the Chumash. Ani ma'amin b'emunah
In the end
shlema.
of the world is going to happen.
1 second. Maybe now is the Achrit Hayamim. How do you know now is not Achrit Hayamim?
Because
Ani ma'amin.
the
Ani.
lion is still
That's
not
later.
living
That's
in
after he
peace.
comes. But before,
We didn't
It's
see
a-
2/3 of the
I didn't say.
destroyed.
No one said that happened. But it says Ani ma'amin b'emunah shlema
We
b'viat
didn't see
HaMashiach.
Elijah coming and saying,
Okay.
and
1
declaring who is
second.
the Messiah.
Ani ma'amin b'emunah shlema. I believe with complete emunah that Mashiach is going to come. That's number one. Now we continue. Va'af al pi she'yitmameh. And even if yitmameh, what's yitmameh? Even if he didn't come yet, we're waiting and
He's late.
waiting,
What do you mean
and he's
Yitmameh?
late, and he's
That's
he's
it.
taking his time. Af al pi she'yitmameh.
Beside
Af al pi she'yitmameh. Im kol zeh, achakeh lo b'chol yom she'yavo. Together with this, that he's taking his time, or he's late, and he's crouching around. He's very slow. Even though that he's crouching around, that doesn't weaken my emunah. Achakeh lo b'chol yom sheyavo. No one's promising anything, but every Jew,
but I want you to bring it, Chitoli. I want you to bring it.
What does that have to do with pressure?
So you can understand from the rabbi that he was tired and tell her, okay, I can do that.
I don't understand what you're saying. The Rebbe is saying that every person, you want
Putting pressure on him. We want you to bring the Messiah.
Not true. I was putting pressure on the
Yeah.
what?
He didn't even want
What do you want to do?
Messiah.
Okay, we're making a whole challenge over here. We're mixing
Because look, when
50
you promise
50 stuff.
something over and over and over again.
Get to the point about the Chiddush. What is the Chiddush? He wants to know what is the Chiddush. He doesn't know what's the
The
Chiddush.
bottom line is, if someone wants Mashiach to actually come, you want Mashiach to come in reality? The Rebbe is saying over here, it used to be the way people used to think, the mentality was that I could go to sleep at night and someone else is going to do it. The Rebbe is going to do it. The Tzaddik's going to do it. The Rosh Hashiva is going to do it. He's going to do it. The other guy, the Tzaddik's going to do it. Me, I'm not going to do it. I'm the simple guy, and I'm going to go to sleep. It's not my business. So the Rebbe is saying, he's a Rebbe, and he knows what needs to be done. He has a Ruach HaKodesh, and he's saying, now the way Mashiach is going to come, if we want Mashiach to come, every single person needs to feel that it's his personal piece of cake.
And that's the only
It's
way.
his baby. If
And
you
that's the
want
only way.
Mashiach to come, that's the only way. You
So
need
that's
to
never
think.
gonna happen.
Who says that's?
every Jew or-
This is
Let's
This-
be honest with each other. Come on.
why?
Why?
Be honest. Why it's so hard?
Because-
Do whatever you can.
because
Do
even the time
whatever
of the
you can.
rabbi, when you had the best spring 770, and he was in the middle, and all these Hasidim were around him, and you can make the best spray with him, he didn't come. Then why 40 years later, when people went far from Judaism, maybe they have more people that pray, but you cannot expect from all the Judaism together like to keep one Shabbat together. All of
Who
them
said
together.
to keep? Who said they keep?
Why not?
And in the end of the
They
day,
told me it doesn't have to be for every
it's
Jew.
about the people, it's
He said it
about
doesn't have to
God.
be every Jew. He said
It's
Mashiach
about
can just
you
boom,
and me.
come like that.
It's about God.
I want to know, does it have to be from every Jew? Does it have to be from every Jew? Or does it have to be like,
Every
One, two,
single
three,
okay, Moshaich
What is
person.
that?
You're a person, you are not good enough.
Every person needs to think to himself.
In the old age, that you didn't change. You want to change now?
I didn't change, I did change.
But it's not enough, we tell
That's
you.
right, you gotta keep
So it's
changing.
never going to happen.
Who said? Who said? Who said? Who said? How do you know? You're a Navi. You know it's never going to happen. At a Navi, you know it's never going to
I'm
happen.
just saying from the chances.
We don't. It doesn't work with
You're
statistics.
working in the
God, it doesn't work. Exactly. God doesn't work with statistics. God's not a statistic.
No, you said he will come. We don't know when. But
You're
then
giving
he promised to
statistics of
people,
the past.
tomorrow, Mama Shachshach in 50 years past.
We need. You're saying 50
The rabbi
years.
said Mama
You're saying
Shachshach,
50 years. I'll tell you a bigger
and
finish.
he's
I'll tell you a bigger finish. 1953 years passed. You're telling me 50 years. 50 years is nothing.
No.
The Yidden since the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed. Since then, you're telling me 50 years.
Okay.
And that's what Yidden are. We're not.
So wait,
We say
we're
we're not.
and everybody else after you.
Who says? Who says?
Be a class, not a regular argument or debate. Let's continue with the class.
Okay, let's continue. That's what the Rebbe told this lady. That it's the responsibility of every single person.
Asking questions, you know?
Okay.
Now,
Now I'll tell you something
Wait,
else.
I'm saying I'm just getting discouraged.
It's a responsibility from every Jew, every Jew.
To fix your house.
I also know it's
And I
responsibility from
never
every
came.
Jew.
And the day after
Nobody
tomorrow.
promised.
So that's
Someone
every
said
Jew.
he's coming tomorrow. No one said a
Nobody
date.
promised.
The Rebbe didn't say a date. The Rebbe didn't say a date. Let me ask you a question. Moshe, imagine you were in jail. Imagine you were in a cell, in a pit in jail, you're locked up, okay? You're in jail, imagine. Picture yourself in a jail, locked up in a cell. Then the president of the United States that could take down the whole jail in 1 second. Something as the Bible says, tells you by phone, I'm going to free you from the jail. He didn't tell you a day. He didn't tell you a time. He didn't tell you nothing. He said, I'm going to take you out of this jail. I'm going to send the lawyer. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get you out of the jail, whatever it is. I'm going to give you a pardon. Like Rabashkin was in jail. He was about to be there for 28 years. Trump, after 8 years, signed the paper, blah, 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 and he got him out. Imagine Trump would tell you, I'm going to take you. I'm not telling you when. Any normal person in jail, any normal person, forget about dying now. Let me finish what I want to say. Any normal person that he hears, that he tells him, I'm going to take you out, you're going to wait. You want to get out of there already. You want to get out of there. Any normal person.
Okay, but
any normal person. And let me add it even more. A guy's in jail. A guy's in jail, and not only the guy's in jail, when he's in jail, every day they're torturing him in the jail. He's being tortured in the jail, and they're not giving him to eat, and the guy's suffering. And the guy says, I'm going to take you out. I'm asking you a simple question. Would you wait and want to get out of there right away? Yes. Very simple. Yes. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is we're in Galut. We're in Galut. We're in jail. And God told us that he's going to send the Mashiach to take us out of this Galut. God didn't say a day. He didn't say an hour. He didn't say what minute. He didn't say time. But when we hope for it, and first of all, any normal person, any normal person wants to get out of jail. I don't need to tell you, a guy that's in jail, why do you want to go? Why should you talk about going out of jail? Why should you want to think about getting out of jail? Forget about it. Live with it. Live with it. Live with the suffering. Live with the pain. Let the guy continue suffering. Forget about Trump said that he's going to take you out of jail. Stay there. Stay there. Why talk about it every day? That's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. We're suffering, and that's why. Very good. Exactly. And that is why be a Mashiach. That is why we're hoping and wait. What are you going to go back and do whatever you can? Put on tefillin every day, keep Shabbos, keep kosher, do Torah and mitzvahs, and that's going to bring the good. Very good.
Forget about money and job.
That is going to make him come closer. Okay. Now, after this talk,
every Jew make it happen.
Shabbos Parshas Tazrei B'Tzoyra.
It's the only way every Jew. That's all I know. It's the only way every Jew does the truth. Like not be in Gula.
Tomorrow you want to bet?
Tonight he's gonna.
Do you want to bet?
If he's gonna come tonight, מה תגיד? אם יבוא הלילה. אם יבוא הלילה. אני שואל אותך שאלה, אם הוא יבוא הלילה, מה תגיד? אתה תביא לי $100 אם יבוא הלילה? אתה תביא לי $100 אם יבוא הלילה? כן, בוא נראה.
ואם לא תביא לי?
אתה תביא לי $100?
ואם לא
תביא לי $100.
אני מביא לך.
זה עולה לך לדעת שיכול לבוא?
מה?
If a guy says,
But
if a guy says, listen, if a guy, you want to hear? I'll teach you.
It's not going to help.
I think it will help because it says
How?
in Shemana Esrei, one of the words we say is Tzamach David Avdecha Mehirat Atzmech. Ask God, the descendant of David
Let's
Amelech.
pray.
Let me finish, please. We say as Tzamich David Avdecha Mehirat Atzmech, the descendant of David Amelech. Very fast, you should make him come up.
Fast is not going to be.
The
You
Karno.
pray that it will be fast.
Could you be
Fast.
quiet for 1 minute?
Is this class just for you, or is it
1
for
minute.
everybody?
He's talking with me.
Okay, let me
It's
speak.
for everybody. Whenever
That's
you
what he's
speak,
talking about.
nobody can learn. Okay?
I'm trying to finish a
You're
sentence.
talking the same thing over and over. Let him learn. Let him teach the class.
Teach.
Okay, just be quiet till I finish. We say as Samech David Avdecha Mehirat Atzmech, you should bring him very fast. The Karno Tarum Shuatach, you should uplift his strength with your salvation. Why?
I don't know.
Why? So I'll tell you why. The reason is we say in Shemana Esrei,
But it doesn't matter. It didn't work.
Ki lishuatcha kivinu kol hayom. Ki, what does it mean? Ki means because. Why will Hashem bring Mashiach fast? Why is Tzamech David Avdecha Mehirat Atzmech v'karno tarum b'shuatecha? Why? The reason is Ki lishuatcha kivinu kol hayom. Because we were hoping, we were talking about the Mashiach the whole day, kol hayom. Because we're talking about Mashiach, that is why Mehirat Atzmech. So why are we talking about it? Because the more you talk about it, and the more you talk about it, the faster he's going to come. That's what it says.
Fast is not gonna
That is what it says. You don't know nothing.
We are
You don't. You're not a Navi. You're not a Navi. You're not a Navi. Okay, stop. Cut it.
What should we do? What should we do? What should we do?
Cut.
What should we do to bring?
Cut. Yeah.
It's incorrect. How dare you say that?
What should we do to bring it up?
Yeah. Shh.
How they say it's going up?
Yes.
How they say it's going up?
Yeah.
This is a rabbi.
Shh. Okay, whatever.
Believe is not correct.
We have to know
What it is. Fast is not
what is
happening
the
fast.
Mashiach.
Correct.
You know, that for us
To wait for it.
to wait for
Correct.
it and do whatever we need to do
Correct.
to bring it.
Right.
So
100%.
can you explain?
More about Mashiach. Very good. Very
What do we
good.
need to do?
So now I'm going to add another thing. So you said something very important, which is the second half of the class, which I wanted to say. Now, after the Rebbe said everyone should do whatever they can to bring Mashiach, and the Rebbe made a big deal out of it, and everyone didn't know what does the Rebbe want. People were breaking their heads. What does the Rebbe want us to do? So Shabbos Pashas Tazria B'Tzoyra, like this week, the Rebbe said the Pirkei Avot of this week is the second chapter between the Pesach and Shavuot. Every week, we will learn another chapter. There's 6 chapters and there's 6 weeks. We read one chapter every Shabbat. This week is the second chapter. The second chapter of Pirkei Avot starts off with the words, Rabbi Omer. Rabbi says, Eizahu derech hayeshara sheyavar lo adam. What is the straight path that a person should pick? What's the straight path? So the Mishnah answers, Kol shehi tiferet leoseha v'tiferet lo min adam. What's the straight path that a person should live with? So the Mishnah says there's 2 ways of a person acting. There's 2 extremes. One, for example, the Farshim give. One extreme is a guy can take all of his money, everything he has, and give it to tzedakah, and be left with nothing. So everyone is going to be very happy, but he's left with nothing. Or a guy could keep for himself all of his money and not give nothing. So it's going to be good for him, and no one's going to have anything. And all people that could use the money to give tzedakah to will be suffering. What is the derech hayeshara? He says, Kol shi tiferes leoseh v'tiferet lo min adam. Something that's good for you and good for others. You have to take the middle path, not any extreme. Now in the Sfirot, there's 3 Sfirot. There's Chesed, is kindness, to give, just to give. Avraham Avinu was the first Chesed. Avraham Avinu gave. He gave everyone. He invited all the guests. He gave Arabs. He gave everyone. That's Chesed. God said, I'm going to give you Yitzchak. He said, I don't need Yitzchak. I have Yishmael. Avraham Avinu was able to give Yishmael. He was just giving with no stop. Yitzchak, the second level is Gvura, to hold back, not to give anything. What's Tiferes? Tiferes is in the middle. It's the combination of Chesed and Gvura together. To give to who needs and not to just give to another, to be in the middle. That's Tiferet. Rebbe says, what's the straight path for a person to take Tiferes? The Rebbe says, what's the straight path to bring Mashiach? What's the straight path for Mashiach to come? And the Rebbe is, after the Rebbe is saying that everyone should do whatever they can, the Rebbe is saying, what is the straightest path? What is direct to go straight to the Gula? What's the straightest path? The easiest path, the Rebbe said, the easiest. Aderech HaYeshara, Hakala, V'Amehira, and the fastest. But Yoy said, what's the fastest way from all the different ways that the Torah has to bring Mashiach? What is it? Yes. So he said Tiferes. What's Tiferes? The Gemara says Tiferes Zu Matan Torah. Tiferes symbolizes unlearning Torah. That's what the Rebbe said. Number one, the fastest way to bring Mashiach, if someone wants to bring Mashiach, first of all, is to add and learn more Torah. You could do this, you could do that, you could do many things. But the fastest is Torah. Now, in Torah itself, he says it's Malchus Shebetiferes. The Sfirat Omer, each day has a different Sfirah. So that week is Tiferet. And in that day was Malchut Shebetiferes. What's Malchut? Kingdom. Malchus is Mashiach. Malchut Shebetiferet. Malchus, the way he's in Tiferet. That means Malchus Mashiach, the way he is in Tiferet in Torah. To learn the parts of Tiferet, the parts of Torah that talk about Mashiach. It's in very, very simple words. To add in learning Torah about Mashiach. To learn the parts of the Torah that talk about Mashiach. That is the fastest way to bring Mashiach. There was a Lubavitcher Chassid that was very, very close to the Rebbe. His name is Rabbi Chaim Gutnick. The Rebbe invited him once to eat in his house with him on Shabbos, at his Shabbos table, which the Rebbe did to no one. And this guy's over there sitting by himself, him, the Rebbe, and his wife. And they give him a piece of fish to eat. And this guy couldn't eat the piece. He was shivering. He was like cutting the fish and just playing with his fork. He was so, he sit over there. The Rebbe's right next to him. So he asked the Rebbe, the Rebbe's like looking, he said, could you ask the Rebbe a question? So he was a smart guy. He was a Rav in Australia. He said like this, he says he's a Kohen. And he was always wondering, how is it possible that the Kohanim in the Beis HaMikdash, where God was revealed in the Beis HaMikdash, they were eating meat. Certain korbanot, the Kohanim, they needed to eat it in the Beis HaMikdash. Kadshei Kadashim, that they eat it inside the Beis HaMikdash. So he asks the Rebbe, in front of God's presence, to eat meat, how could the Kohanim do it? So he was basically maybe hinting to the Rebbe, that like, how could he eat in front of the Rebbe over here? Like he's embarrassed. So the Rebbe told him in the beginning it was hard for the Kohanim, and then they got used to it. That's what the Rebbe told him. So basically, he started eating. So he was very, very close to the Rebbe for years and years and years. Now, after the Rebbe said this talk that he did whatever he can, and he was not successful, and now the only thing that could be done is that every single person needs to feel that it's their own personal obligation, and everyone should do whatever they can. And the Rebbe said, he wrote to the Rebbe a long letter, and he wrote to the Rebbe that if the Rebbe could please reveal to him what's the secret that the Rebbe wants. What does the Rebbe want? People didn't know. People were going crazy then. People were thinking, what should we do? What does the Rebbe want? The Rebbe is giving up. The Rebbe is saying he's just giving it to us. What's going on over here? So he wrote to the Rebbe, please reveal to me what you want. And he wrote to the Rebbe, I'm going to do whatever you tell me. And he wrote to the Rebbe, he's willing to be moiser nefesh. He's willing to give up his life. He's willing to do anything. If the Rebbe tells him what does the Rebbe want to be done, he's going to do. And he said over this story in 770 a few months later, and he was so emotional he needed to take a pill after when he repeated the story that how he wrote to the Rebbe, and he wasn't joking around. He was really serious. He said he's willing to give up anything the Rebbe wants, he's going to do. So the Rebbe, what did the Rebbe do? The Rebbe made a copy of this sikh of this week, where it says that the straightest, easiest way to bring Mashiach is to add in learning Torah about Mashiach. The Rebbe made a copy of that sikh, and the Rebbe told his secretary and said, "Give this to him." He says, "This is the answer. This is the answer. You want to give up your life? It's very simple. You don't need to go crazy. I mean, you should go. You're willing to go crazy. You're willing to be moister nefesh. You're willing to. So go learn about Mashiach. Go teach it to other people. Go spread it as much as possible. And after that, they made this booklet, which the Rebbe himself, you can see in this picture, the Rebbe himself is holding it. And the Rebbe gave this to my mother, and the Rebbe stood there for hours giving it to thousands of people. He handed this booklet out to every single person in 770. The Rebbe took his time. The Friedrich Rebbe, the Rebbe was, when the Rebbe was an ovel for his father, the Rebbe came to the yeshiva where they davened, and asked him what time is Ma'ariv. So they told him 9:30, 9:35. So the Rebbe said, is it 9:30 or 9:35? Because in 5 minutes, you could flip over the whole world. Don't tell me, every minute, and he told this to his father-in-law, to the Rebbe Rayatz. He was still alive then. It was 6 years before his Stalkut. And he said, don't you know that by my son-in-law, 1 minute, by him is like a year. And 5 minutes is like 5 years. That's how precious the Rebbe's time was. That's how precious his time was. And the Rebbe stood there for hours, for 5 hours or something. What was he doing? Giving this out to everyone. That every single baby and every single person in 770 should get this booklet. What's this booklet? And over here, it says what I read before, that he said that Haderech HaYeshorah, that the straightest way, Lazades as Bias Mashiach Tzidkenu B'Poel Mamish, to speed up the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu in reality, is through through every single Jew, men, women, and children. Yosef will add in their learning Torah in general, especially in the topics, the subjects of the redemption and the Mashiach. The way it's explained in Teresh Balpeh, not just to read the Psukim in Tanakh that talk about Mashiach, but it should be explained. It should be the way the Gemara explains it, the way the Gemara in Sanhedrin, the way it's elaborated. And he says this, and over here, he gave out 4 of his sichot, 4 of his pilpulim, that he said on the last 2 chapters of the Rambam. The last 2 chapters of the Rambam are designated to talk about the Mashiach. The Rambam over there says, so like he started asking, what is Mashiach? What is Yomata Mashiach? How do you know who is Mashiach? What's the order of events? He said, we don't know. We do know. The Rambam made it very clear how, the Rambam said very clear how we're going to know everything. And it's not anything of what you said before, not this and this, all those simanim. The Torah, the Rambam gives the simanim to know who's Mashiach, even before the Gula comes. Even now in Galut, you can know, he says, so you can know who's Mashiach. You can know how and to know that there's 2 stages, he says. The Rambam says everything. He says the different signs, the Torah, the different. Where do we know that? Where the different psukim that talk about the Mashiach, and he explains them the proofs. How do we know? Where do we know that Mashiach is going to come from? So he brings a different psukim from the Chumash that talk about Mashiach, and he explains what Mashiach needs to do, what he doesn't need to do. He explains why Yashka is not Mashiach, why we don't believe in Christianity, why that's nothing to do with Mashiach. And then he explains how the world is going to be when Mashiach comes. What's going to be happening in the whole world? Will there be miracles? He says all this, the order of events. That's what he talks about. That's what the Rambam, the last 2 chapters speak about. And here, the Rebbe analyzes the Rambam. It's 4 chapters. 2 short chapters, chapter 11 and chapter 12 of Kings. Chapter 11 is only 4 halachot. Chapter 12 is 5 halachot. Chapter 11, the Rambam is focusing on the person Mashiach. Chapter 12, the Rambam is focusing on the world. There's the person Malach HaMashiach and the world. And it's altogether 9 halachot. But the Rebbe really was very into these 2 chapters, and he really explained how deep every single word of these chapters are and really explained it. So over here, there's only 4 talks. With God's help, I had this chut to sit for a few years, and I put together a sefer over here, which is 700 pages of the Rebbe's explanations just on the last 2 chapters of the Rambam. Now, really explain what Mashiach is, we need some few more classes for this, and this is what we're planning on doing eventually with Hashem's help. There's a few people that are working on it to make in this show. Anyone that's interested to learn about Mashiach, there's going to be classes. We're going to learn everything, all the psukim, all the Gemarot, all the Medrashim, all the Zohar, all the Kabbalah, to really, for everyone, to really be knowledgeable, and anyone that wants to really know what's Mashiach, and not look at Mashiach like some dream or some hakabaka, but it should be really something that everyone can understand, and everything very, very clear ways. And that's what we're planning. But you ask, what is it in a nutshell? So really, in one line, it's like we started to say before, we have 613 mitzvot. We could do now only 1/5 of the 613 mitzvot. Why could we do only 1/5? Because we're missing the conditions and the possibility to do all 613. God gave us the Torah to do 613. What are the conditions? Just like someone needs an arm to put on tefillin on his arm. If someone doesn't have an arm, God forbid, he cannot put on tefillin on his arm. He's missing that mitzvah. If someone's missing a head, you can't put a tefillin on his head. So too, to do 613 mitzvot, there's conditions. There's 3 main conditions that we need. There's many, but the 3 conditions. Number 1 is to have a Jewish king that has power over the world and no one's on top of him. He has no say on top of him. Just like David HaMelech and Shlomo HaMelech, to have a Jewish king. Just like it was then. No one told them what to do. They didn't need to ask the Knesset, and they didn't ask no one. They were on top of everyone. They were the Rosh Mimshala, and they were everything. That's what, to have a Jewish king that has power. Number 2, he needs to build a Bet HaMikdash. And number 3 is to have that king. He needs to build a Bet HaMikdash. And number 3 is that king brings the Yidden to Eretz Yisrael.
If Israel doesn't have a king, we don't have a Bet Mikdash.
Correct, 100%. No one's allowed to go build it by themselves. The only person we can't. No, you can't even build it. First of all, because we don't know how to build it. The third Bet HaMikdash, Yecheskel HaNavi says the prophecy how the third Beis HaMikdash is going to look. Even before they built the second Bet HaMikdash, they already knew that the third one is going to be built. Yecheskel HaNavi, and it's unclear. The Rambam says, he writes, that it's not clear exactly how to build it. Melech HaMashiach, that he will be a Navi, a prophet, God will tell him exactly how every single detail needs to be built. And that's number 1. We don't know how to build it. And number 2, we don't know where to build it. We don't even know exactly where on the Har HaBayit there's a machloket. Where exactly is the place where it needs to be built? You can't just build it wherever you want on the Har HaBayit. It's a very precise place. The place of the Mizbeach, that exact place where the Mizbeach is, that's exactly where Adam HaRishon was created. That's where Adam HaRishon brought his korban. That's where Cain and Hevel brought their korban in that specific place. That's where Noach brought his korban when he came out of the Teva. That's where Akedat Yitzchak was in that place. That's where Yaakov Avinu was. That everything. That's where they built the first Beis HaMikdash, the second Beis HaMikdash.
Israel have to change their election first.
Melech HaMashiach is going to come, and the whole elections will go. But it needs to be. Mashiach is a Melech, doesn't need anyone to elect him.
Yeah, he's going to be a king over everyone.
So he's going to be the king.
Melech HaMashiach, yes. He's going to be the Rosh Hashanah, he's going to be running the show.
But God's going to be the highest king. That's the main thing. God's going to be...
So the base of Moshe Rabbeinu didn't become Moshe Rabbeinu because he was elected by whatever. God came to him by the bush and said, you're the king. Melech HaMashiach, God tells him, you're. He doesn't need anyone to agree. He doesn't need anyone to say yes. He doesn't need anyone to say no. If you want to listen to him and be part of his army, very good. Kol hakavod. But he doesn't need. It's not up for votes. But we don't even know where it belongs exactly. That's why the Rambam writes, what are the simanim of Malach HaMashiach is that he will know where to build it and he'll know how to build it. Okay, and once you have the Beis HaMikdash built, you have right away at least a few hundred mitzvot come in right away. To bring korbanot every day, to go to the Beit HaMikdash on the Yom Tov, to light the menorah every day, to read the Torah every day. There's so many mitzvot that we don't do. We don't even know that we're not doing them. There's so many mitzvot that are dependent in the Beit HaMikdash. And the third condition is to bring at least most of the Jewish people to Eretz Yisrael, but it's all the Jewish people. But the minimum is to bring a majority, rov, which means in order to do Shemitah and Yovel, Shemitah is just like we rest every seventh day of the week. Every seventh year, the land is meant to rest. We do it now only with the Ramadan. We do it now as a minhag to just keep the tradition, but really we're not obligated to do it. And so too, every 50 years, the same thing is a Shabbos year, every fifth Yovel. And the condition for these two mitzvot is only when you have all the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael. It says Kol Yosheveha Aleha. All of the Yidden need to be living in Eretz Yisrael. We do not have. The 10 tribes also will come back. Correct, whatever. There's about chlogim, but they will come back. And when you have a majority of the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael, then you can do Shemitah v'Yovel. And that's when we will be able to do all of God's commandments. That's why, one of the reasons why Mashiach is such a fundamental pillar of Judaism. Why did the Rambam say this is one of the 13 foundations of the whole Yahadut? Why is it such an important thing to believe in Mashiach, to wait for Mashiach, to want Mashiach? Because we're here from the Torah's perspective, which this is the truth, we need to be doing 613 mitzvot. The Judaism, we're doing only 1/5. God gave us commandments. God's commandments are forever. God told us to put on tefillin. It's not for a certain amount of years. There's no expiration date for God's commandments. Just like God doesn't expire, God's forever. So to his wisdom, his desire, what he wants is also forever. There's no expiration date. See, he wants us to put on tefillin forever. He wants us to do everything forever, all the mitzvot. The question is, so he wants us to bring korbanot forever. But how are we doing that? One of the foundations, there's 13 foundations. One of the 13 is also that all of God's commandments are forever. They never stop. The question is, well, we can't do 4/5. We're only doing 1/5. So how are they forever? How is there no expiration date when we can't do it? So that's what Mashiach is coming to do and coming to reveal, to show us how all what God gave us is forever, even in fulfilling it. It's not only forever in God's commandment. It's not only God's telling us, bring korbanot.
But they were part of history where you can do all of them.
Yes, that was in the past.
That's what they were for that part of history.
No, but that's not the point. The point is that's just the opposite of what you just said. That's what Mashiach is all about. That's why.
Maybe that's just
why.
One thing to have a Mashiach, although he's not here.
Why did God Almighty, why did Hashem Yitbarach in his Torah through Moshe Rabbeinu promise to us many times? The Rambam says, it says, V'shav Hashem Elokecha Shvutcha. Hashem is going to return all the Jewish people from the whole world, return them to Eretz Yisrael. Look at Parashat Nitzavim.
Because he did it a couple of times.
No, it says that didn't happen. That nevuah did not take place. It says it's going to be the Yidden, something that never was, if it's greater than Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and it's going to be the whole Eretz Yisrael. It says Hashem promised Avraham Avinu in Brit Ben Absarim 10 lands. We only conquered 7 of them. We did not conquer all 10. There's many, many places that Torah clearly talks about the Mashiach is going to come, and God promised it. Why? To bring out this point that if God told us to do 613 mitzvahs, it wasn't for the past. It wasn't for a certain amount of years in the past. It's in the future. God's commandments are forever in this world, in doing them, and that's what the Mashiach is coming to show us. It wasn't God's commandments is not something in the past. But you learn about korbanot. We don't learn about korbanot that it was 500 years, 2,000 years ago, or whatever it is.
Obviously, there
That's
are
not the
times
way
in-
we're meant
period
to.
in the Bible where you can do those 613 mitzvahs.
Right, but that's
what they are
so.
written.
Why is Mashiach a foundation of Yiddishkeit? Why is it a pillar? Why is it a yesod of
Maybe this is
Yadut?
just a desire of this generation to want to do those 613 mitzvahs, and because they can, they're praying for that.
God said He's going to bring Mashiach. God in the Torah, no one in this generation
Where?
made up. So open up a Chumash, in Parshat Nitzavim, in Parshat Bil'am, Parshat Balak, Parshat Shoftim. I'm telling you
It
three
doesn't say
places.
directly.
It says directly. The Rambam says Mufurash.
I mean,
Elu
Keren me-
Mufurash. Don't carry me that. It says clearly. The Rambam says it says clearly. Elu Advarim Mufurashim Ator. It's clearly, and it's HaTorah Yidalav. He says the Torah clearly witnesses and testifies how we're all gonna go back from the whole world. When in history, Yidden were all over the world. Yidden were all together in Mitzrayim, in Babel, and here and there. Yidden word says from the whole world, wherever the Yidden are, God's going to gather everyone together and
Which he
bring.
did it after
He,
that.
he didn't do it. It
Not
never
every-
happened.
not
When he built the first temple and the second.
No. There was the Yidden were in Babel. That's it. They were in Babylonia. We didn't were all over the place. These psukim were never fulfilled. Bilam says a whole nevuah about David HaMelech and about a descendant of David HaMelech that's going to come and kill all the enemies, and he's going to rule over the whole entire world. He says, Miyam ad yom. And that's in the Chumash. The Chumash is clearly, and not talk about it. The Rambam says, he doesn't even need to prove it from the Nevi'im. The Nevi'im and the Ksuvim, the Rambam says, Aval b'divrei ha-Nevi'im en hadavar tzarich raya. The Rambam says, it's unnecessary to even prove it from the Nevi'im. Why? Shekol hasfarim mele'im b'davar zeh. All the Nevi'im are loaded, they're filled. Anywhere. I don't need to go tell you here and there and there. Just open up any Navi now and read whatever you want. It's going to come up to Mashiach. Any pasuk, anywhere. Okay, go open it up. You'll see.
The hour of the all the
There's a lot. Yeah, there's.
You do Chura
Baruch
Shemayim.
Hashem. Now you know there's something that you should learn.
Chura Shemayim, Chura Shemayim, and Megusha.
But there's a lot of things that are not fully completed. Like for example, the Quran Duma, there's 9, we're missing the 10th. It says also the hearts of David, 9, the 10th of Mashiach comes. Everything is like we're right.
We're missing, right? We're missing.
No.
But it's not only that. Even things that we did in the past, we can't do now. All the korbanot, all the mitzvahs that are dependent in the Beis Hamikdash, all the mitzvahs that are
Maybe that's
dependent.
what God wanted.
The one-
You cannot do that. That's what he wanted. You're not able to do it.
Now what he wants, God made this world for a reason. The reason he made this world is, it says to make for him a dira b'tachtonim. He wanted a dwelling place in the lowest of the low. That's what he
He
wanted.
had twice.
And he wants it again.
Temporary,
So now this world is a jungle. Now the world is just, and that's what's gonna stay. Yeah, he got what he wanted, and now this world is just gonna be a hefkervat. Well, that's
how the world looks like.
so
today.
that's what you
That's how it's
think.
been kind of.
But
That's the world
but
looks like today.
that's what it looks like today. But that's what the whole point of Mashiach is. That God is a little stronger, or not a little, is much stronger than all the craziness that's happening. And he had a vision, why he made this world. That he wanted to be here, that this should be his house forever. And this is actually connected to what we started off, this whole talk, that the Rebbe said is giving it up to us, and we need to do whatever we can. Because that's the whole point. God didn't make a world for malachim. He didn't make the world for malachim. He made it for people. God wants, what does God want? God wants the lowest of the lowest. That should be his home. He wants this low world, and this low world, he should live in this low world. And who's going to do it? So there's two ways it can be done. It can be done either through tzaddikim, which tzaddikim are like malachim. And that's also missing the point. The whole point is that the lowest of the lowest of the lowest, that's where God wants to rent. All of us, we're the lowest of the lowest. If the Rebbe would just bring the Mashiach, and we wouldn't want Mashiach, and we would be these clowns that we were. That's not the point. Imagine, the Baba Sali, he wanted, this is what his Gabbai said, which is not the difference. Baba Sali, 1952, wanted to move to Brooklyn. There's a letter of the Rebbe to the Baba Sali, and you're writing to me that you want to come live over here. The Rebbe said, you shouldn't do it. Don't come and live over here. Why not? He says, because if you want to bring Mashiach, so what the Rebbe says. You want Mashiach to come. The way Mashiach is going to come is because thousands and hundreds of thousands of Jewish people are looking up to you. Through you helping all the Sfaradim and all the Moroccan Jews and whatever to fight against the Yetzer Hara. The Rebbe said, you're going to stand in front of the Machaneh, like the chief general that's standing in front of the whole army and showing them how to fight and how to win the war. The Rebbe says, you're going to be the Neira Ma'aravi for all the Sfaradi Jews over there in Eretz Yisrael, wherever he was. You're going to help them fight against the Yetzer Hara, and that's the way we're going to bring Mashiach. That's what the Rebbe writes to him. So you're reading this letter, bringing Mashiach, going. So his Gabbai said to Baba Sali, why does he want to live in Brooklyn? What's there in Brooklyn? There was no community, Sephardi communities. It's right after the Holocaust. Who was living over here? There was nothing. The Rebbe was there. Besides for the Rebbe, why does the Baba Sali need to come to live in New York? What did he lose in New York? He has his family in New York. What did he have in New York?
He wanted to learn from the Rebbe.
He wanted to force the Rebbe to bring the Gula. That's what he wanted to come to New York. He was a big tzaddik. He had Ruach HaKodesh. He made miracles. He wanted to come to New York and say, 1, 2, 3, we're going to take the easy route. He's going to come to New York, come to Brooklyn, come to the Rebbe, and force the Rebbe. That's what he wanted to do.
Really? That's
what he wanted to do. That's what
How do we know?
Force the Rebbe. He wanted to bring Mashiach. That's what the Baba Sali wanted to do.
You wanted the Rebbe to bring the Mashiach?
Yeah, he wanted to do it together with the Rebbe.
It's true, if you put the Rebbe and Baba Sali together.
That's what he wanted to do. And the Rebbe told him that's not the way. In the past in history, there's a Rabbi Yosef de Loraina. I don't know, we don't have time for long stories over here. But there's a very big tzaddik. The Arizal mentions this story. Big tzaddik, he mentioned there's a big tzaddik, Yosef de Loraina. And he also, there's a certain way, a certain route to bring Mashiach by tzaddikim forcing God to bring the Geula. Tzaddikim, they get together and they do all this Kabbalistic stuff, which I don't know what it is. They pray, they fast, they say certain tefillot, they access certain malachim. They know how to call certain malachim, which these malachim know how to call other malachim, until they could contact the Satan himself, and they kill the Satan, and then they bring Mashiach.
They do that?
So that's what there's a tzaddik, and he's called him Yosef de Loraina. He wanted to do it, and Al Yanovi told him, "Don't do it; it's dangerous." And he says, I'm going to sacrifice my life. I'm doing it anyways. And he went, and he did, and he fasted. And he needed to get his Talmidim. He needed to get, 100 Talmidim, and they should all fast together. And they were fasting, and his Talmidim were dying in the middle of getting sick. And they're telling him it's dangerous to do it. And he said, I don't care. We're gonna bring Mashiach. We're going to force God. And he was just going. And then the last second, he messed up. He finally copped the Satan himself. And it was like a dog. It says it was like a doggy. And the Malach that told him where he was, he says, remember, you don't give him nothing. You don't give him to eat. You don't give this dog to drink. You don't give him nothing. So he said, okay. He took him with the dog, the Yetzer Hara himself, and he was going to take him to Har Tzion over there in Yerushalayim, and he was going to shecht the Yetzer Hara. It says, Mashiach is going to come, he's going to shecht him. This is the source for all the klipot in the whole world. He took him all the evil, and he was going up the mountain, and he almost reached to the top of the mountain, and this dog is saying, please, give me to drink, give me to eat, I'm so weak, I can't even move, please. And he was begging him, and he said, you know what, at least let me sniff some of your tabak, your sniff box, give me a little bit, a drop. And he said, okay, I'll give him. And the second he gave him to sniff, this little puppy turned into a lion and ripped out all the chains, and he killed Yosef de Loraina right away, and he just whatever. And a Baskel came from Shammai and said that he did worse. What he did was worse than bringing Torah to Avodah Zarah. He brought Torah to the source of the Avodah Zarah, not only to the Satan himself. Whatever, it's a long story which I skipped 90% of it, but the point is, the Rebbe says the story. The Rebbe brings the story.
I thought the Satan was smarter than like every person.
But the point is, this is a route that certain tzaddikim try to take, to just skip everything and just force God to bring the redemption, which they weren't successful at the end of the day. Why not? Because there's a certain purpose of this world why God created it. God did not create this world for a high spiritual world. God created the lowest world, and he wanted the lowest of the lowest should be his dwelling place. He wanted to live. God said, go to the dumpster and turn that into my palace. He doesn't want to live in a fancy house. He says, go to some khurba, some broken down, garbage, stinky place, and clean it up and make me a palace. That's what he wanted.
Transform.
Go to give him a palace that already exists. He's not interested.
I feel like it's a big deal that Mashiach, but it's not something you gotta use a connection or do some trick. One guy's gonna do a trick. No, I think everybody.
That's what I'm asking. Does it have to be every single Jew to make it happen, or
he-
it could be like 10?
What these tzaddikim do, they didn't do a little trick. They worked very hard. It wasn't just like 5 minutes. Okay, we're gonna say Kapitel Tehillim and Mashiach's gonna come. That's not what they did. They were fasting and doing and it was like 40 days. I skipped the whole story, but they did it each 40 days that they fasted with 100 talmidim, but they fasted every day. They reached the one malach, and that malach told them what the other malach is, and the other until they were able to figure out where they said whatever.
And some of them died.
But the point is, the whole purpose is for the lowest of the lowest. That's the whole purpose. Not for the highest of the highest. There's high spiritual worlds, and then there's this low world, this low dumpster. The world that's full of evil, full of garbage, full of klipot, full of negativity, full of distractions and whatever. And what did God want? That we should turn this low world into his house, into his palace, into his dwelling place. That's the purpose. Just like it's in the place, which place did God want? God wanted this place, the lowest place. In people, what type of people does God want? God wants the regular people. That they should want Mashiach. This that the Rebbe wants Mashiach. This that Rebbe wants Geulah. This that the Rebbe wants God to be revealed in the whole world. That's not the purpose of creation. The Rebbe says, "I'm giving it up to you now." I just thought of now of maybe a chidush. The Rebbe is saying what tzaddikim needed to do now was accomplished.
Was what?
Whatever tzaddikim needed to do for Mashiach to come, the Rebbe said, "I did whatever I can." The Rebbe said, "I did." So it's in a way, it's a little bit a happy. Also, the Rebbe is saying, I accomplished whatever I needed to accomplish, and now I'm giving it up to you, which means now, well, this is the last piece left. The last piece left to do is that we simple folk, us simple people, that's to make the dwelling place of the lowest of the lowest. That a regular simple Jew should want Mashiach. Not only the tzaddikim, because that's the whole purpose. What's Mashiach? God's revelation in this world. Every simple Jew needs to make it his piece of cake. It's his baby. He needs to, on his own, learn about the Mashiach. Why is he saying everyone should learn about it? Every single person needs to learn about it. And every simple, regular Jew needs to want it. If you're going to learn about it and know what it is and how important it is, you're going to want it. And when every regular simple Jew learns about it, the more you learn about it, the more excited you're going to get about it, the more you're going to want it, the more you're going to daven for it, the more you're going to do things to make it happen faster. And that's the whole purpose. So today, when the Rebbe said, now I'm giving it up to everyone, this is, and to a certain level, like I heard from someone, we became bar mitzvah boys. Till a bar mitzvah, everyone's patur. The bar mitzvah bacher is not obligated to do mitzvot. The father, when the son gets his bar mitzvah, the father says a bracha, Baruch shepatarani, blessed is the one that, now it's on you. And what the bar mitzvah boy, he's meant to be happy. He's meant to be excited. Look, now I have the obligation to do a mitzvah. Now I have the zchut to do a mitzvah. Now it's my job. I can't rely on my father anymore. It's my business. The Rebbe is saying, now you're mature already. Now you're older, and now it's I'm giving it to you to do. You want to be a little baby that you're riding a bicycle with those how do you call it?
Training.
Training wheels. They said your father you want, or you don't want the training wheels, but you want your father holding you the whole time or drive the bike. Go drive the bike. That's the whole point. The whole point is not that the Rebbe should bring Mashiach. That's why God made the world, for a tzaddik to bring Mashiach, or He made it to have a dwelling place in the lowest of the low. That us simple people, we should bring Mashiach. That we should want Mashiach. That's what the Rebbe was telling the Baba Sali. Go out there and help all the Yidden over there that need help. And that's the way Mashiach is actually going to come. Because that's the way we're going to fulfill the whole purpose. The whole purpose is that everyone should bring Mashiach. That the people should bring Mashiach. So the bottom line is that we should take it serious. We should know that it's our business. It's our job. We should feel that it's our responsibility. Everyone should think. You shouldn't feel, I can take it easy. Someone else is going to do the job to bring Mashiach. If you know that there's something that you could do to bring Mashiach, do it. The Rebbe says, do whatever you can. And the main thing is, the Rebbe is saying is that if you want to know what's the fastest way, the easiest way, the best way, is to learn about it. The more we're going to learn about it, it's going to make it come faster. In every aspect. It's going to make it actually happen faster. It's going to make us want it even more, that's also going to make it happen faster. And he also says it's going to make every person live a personal redemption now already. Even before the Gula comes, a person's going to live a more freer life, a more redemption life. He's not going to be limited. Like the Rebbe told this woman the first time when she came, the Rebbe said, think that Mashiach is coming. She's depressed that she lost her son. So what did the Rebbe tell her? Think about Mashiach. Think about Tchias HaMeisim. Think that it's going to happen soon. You're going to be happier. Think if with all this craziness in the world, whatever, better, it's getting better, but there's still crazy things happening. There's miracles happening. There's still miracles happening with all the craziness. But when we think that Mashiach is coming, we see, at least we're living with something good on our mind. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's this bomb and this crazy, and I don't know what. If someone's thinking about Mashiach, it's going to take care of all the tzarot. You can hear when the Rebbe, it's interesting, when the Rebbe's wife passed away, so they came to me, Menachem the Rebbe. They came to the Chum Averim. She could hear the way the Rebbe was speaking, like any guy that came, the Rebbe said, the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi should be built today, and it should even before right now in Mincha, and we're able to bring the Korbanot today, the Beis HaMikdash. I'm going to see Tchias HaMeisim, and I'm listening to this. And the Rebbe is not playing jokes. He's not like talking, he's not hallucinating. He really, really means it. He really has the Emunah. And when you hear the Rebbe's voice, the way he's speaking, you see that even though, but he was living with, he was comforting himself. People are coming to comfort him. He was comforting. He was living with Tchias HaMeisim on his mind. He was living with, that's it. All the tzarot are being finished. So the more people learn about Mashiach, you're going to live with Mashiach now, and you're going to actually wait for the actual redemption to come. And he made it very, very clear. This guy said he's willing to give up his life, and the Rebbe said to keep it simple, basically. The Rebbe sent him a copy of the Sikha and said, you learn about Mashiach. That's the easiest, fastest, best way, straightest way to make it actually come. And Hashem should help that after us learning for so many years, the more we're learning, that Hashem should tonight, right now, send us Mashiach, and He should build the Beis HaMikdash. Take out that it's Yisrael, and we're all going to see it with our eyes, and we're going to dance, and we rejoice, and no one's going to lose their business. No one should be scared that they're going to lose their business. Don't worry, your business is going to go with you, together with you, and you're not going to lose your house, you're not going to lose your car, you're not going to lose nothing. Everything is coming along. Everything is coming along. Don't think that it's going to mess up all your plans and all of your whatever. He's going to come tonight. And if after Mashiach comes, you still want to go to your whatever, which I think by then you're already going to be, there's a joke, they say there was a poor man. And this poor man, they told him, "What are you going to do if you win the lottery?" This schnorrer, the guy would go around collect stucca. He said, "If I win the lottery, I'm gonna destroy all the tall buildings, and I'm gonna build all the houses should only be one floor."
What?
That's what he's gonna make everywhere. So they said, "Why?" He says, "Like that when I need to go around collect money, I don't need to climb up to the second floor. I need to walk up the stairs." Well, this guy forgot if he wins the lottery, he doesn't need to go. He doesn't need to collect money. That's the same thing as we're scared. You know, we're gonna lose our godless life, and then when Mashiach comes, you know, we're gonna want still our business, and we're gonna still this, and we're scared if Mashiach's gonna come, we're gonna lose. But Mashiach's gonna come, we're gonna be looking at all of this stuff and say, money's not even a problem. Money is everywhere. What do you want? Health, everything. We're not going to be, but nevertheless, if someone wants it, you'll have it. Don't worry. You can have whatever you want. You want older houses to be one floor, it can be done. We'll knock down all the big buildings and make it one floor. You won't get to climb up any stairs. So the main thing is Mashiach now. Take it from me, Mamish. We should help that we should meet it, Mamesh, and whatever it is, it should just happen already. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Mashiach now.
Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah,